that last part, that speaks to Soros's ambitions. Everything that made this country great has to be torn down, he thinks. And now he's found a new way to hold American corporations hostage. He does this via funding from his Open Society foundations. The Human Rights Campaign, a militant LGBTQ lobbying organization, has been issuing so-called report cards to America's biggest corporations. And report cards end up awarding or subtracting points for how well these corporations adhere to whatever progressives demand at the moment. So, if you're wondering why the Angle told you the new adage of, go woke, go broke was just a complete mirage, well, behold the reasoning here. Joining me now is Mollie Hemingway, editor-in-chief of The Federalist and Fox News contributor. Mollie, so liberal donors like Soros, as I said, gave $300 million to liberal causes. Republican donors like Ken Griffin have given a lot of money as well, but also they don't donate money to places like Harvard and so forth. But we wonder why we end up losing when so many of our big donors don't kind of have that same structure in place to make this work.
Right. That was a great example you just gave, because today it was announced that Ken Griffin gave $300 million to Harvard University. This is supposedly one of the Republican Party's big donors, wise strategists. He's giving money to an institution that has done so much to harm the country and seeks to continue to do that. By contrast, you look at someone like George Soros. He builds a complicated web of enforcement mechanisms. He has his goal for the progressive agenda, whether that's soft on crime district attorneys or a radical gender ideology, and then he funds the groups that enable this to be enforced. So the Human Rights Campaign gives corporations scores. We look at why are they doing all this advertising that seems designed to turn people off, like having trans activists as the spokespeople for, Anheuser-Busch beer. That's because George Soros funds the groups that sort of encourage this type of radical advertising. They get scores based on whether they're doing it. If they don't do it, they don't get funding from investment companies. It's really smart. I'm not saying it's good, but it's a good way if you want to move the country and you don't see that kind of strategic thinking and control of the economy on the right.
I also think that, this is not about one donor like Mr. Griffin. I mean, there are lots of really wealthy Republicans out there, but there's not really a platform or a group in place to get people mobilized to vote, to marshal the resources and the ideas that obviously make America prosper and healthy and strong and potent on the world stage. The left has like 50 of these. Republicans have like what, 5, 4?
There is a massive funding disparity. There are many billionaires on the left who are engaged in cooperative funding mechanisms. There really is a problem on the right. You have donors who are giving money to colleges and universities that really shouldn't be getting any money. They have massive endowments, and they don't need more money, and they're not going to use the money to do anything to improve the situation. But yes, you're right. On the left, you see people who are thinking about how can we change the way people vote? How can we make it easier for voting to be done without the kind of supervision that gives people confidence in the system? They work on candidates from, Secretary of State all the way down. You need to have this kind of thoughtful, structural, strategic thinking on the right too, if you want to have any hope of saving the country.
Yeah, if you actually want to win, you have to get people to the polls. Mollie, thank you. Now you